Hey, what's up? This is JM, host of the Celebrity Grill podcast on iTunes, and you're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Network. All barbecue and grilling, all the time.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh, should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the Barbecue Central Show, the show where we talk about all things that are important in the world of barbecue. From big-name interviews with competitors on the barbecue circuit, grill manufacturers and pit makers, to advice on cooking brisket and ribs. You'll find it all right here on the Barbecue Central Show. Your host, Greg Rempe, is a backyard barbecue and grilling fanatic and loves to talk about his passion, which many of us share together. You can learn more about barbecue and grilling by visiting the website, thebbqcentral.com. Now, let's get in the smoke. Here's your program host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. Yeah, baby. This is the show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. Haven't done this one in a while. Centralites, how's your life? I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Hey, we originate from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio, widely becoming known as the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. We are right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network, simulcasting as always on LA Talk Radio. Glad you could tune in tonight, this Wednesday evening, for some outdoor live fire grilling talk, barbecue talk, whatever you like. It's up to you. I'm your humble medium and moderator. Want to get in touch with the show tonight? No problem. You can do that one of two ways. You can also interact through the Twitter and the Facebook if you want. Maybe you're one of my 1,078 friends on Facebook. I appreciate that. Or one of my almost 1,000 followers on the Twitter. Want to call in on the telephone? Do it toll free. Do it on me. Dimes on me. 877-448-0433. You can also email the show. Greg at, that's one G, G-R-E-G, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Those are the two ways that you can call in or interact directly. You can also use the social media. If you want to follow me on Twitter, at BBQ Central Show. And if you want to friend me on Facebook, you can do that. I prefer my personal, I do have like a show account, but I also prefer to interact with everybody through the personal account, which is me, Greg Rempe, R-E-M as in Michael, P as in Peter, E. Greg Rempe. I'll accept your friendship request. Promise, I swear. All right, here's what's happening on the show tonight. Coming up next segment, it's wide open. Sometimes that could be a very bad thing.
Get that big stuff
When the Centralites are left up to their own devices. Who knows what could happen, but it's always good to have an open segment during a portion of the show from time to time. In case you've wanted to call in, but you haven't found the right spot to jump into to ask me a question, get my opinion on something, ask me what my take on a TV show is or a particular guest that I've had on in the past, whatever the case may be, this is your segment to jump in about 12 minutes from now, and you can do that by calling 877-448-0433. So open segment coming up at about 5:15, 35 past. Monthly guest Scott Roberts from scottrobertsweb.com will be breaking down some new barbecue sauce and rub reviews. We have the 4-segment free-for-all lined up with succulent giveaways from Frog Mats, El Capitan Santa Maria-style barbecue seasoning, wood smoke products from Greenleaf Barbecue, Cosmos Q injection pack and soaks, and also those new cedar planks and wild game rubs from the good folks over at Easy Hook, so stay tuned for that as well. And then lining up the second hour, Dan Hickson of Three Eyes Barbecue was just on this past week's episode of Barbecue Pitmasters on TLC. So that is what's happening here on the show tonight. And let me get into this before we get done with this segment. Email from a listener, David. Says, Dear Greg, I'm not sure if you ever take a look at questions from us rookie barbecuers, but figured I would give it a shot. I became interested in barbecue after watching season 1 of Barbecue Pitmasters. I am a former chef, so I know about food, but barbecue is totally new to me. I should mention that I am cooking on a 30-inch master-built digital electric smoker. I am sure I should be going about it differently and maybe in the future But the learning curve on this with the thermostat and timer seemed like a good way to start. It's got chicken down pretty well, happy but unhappy with brisket, and did a great whole turkey. Question is, we like beef, and my brisket has been pretty suspect. Today I tried some boneless country-style beef ribs, and I have seen these referred to as Chucky nuggets, and I assume them to be just chunks of chuck roast. I injected them last night with a mix of beef broth, Worcestershire sauce, onion powder, garlic powder, touch of chili powder. Also soaked a mix of pecan, apple, and hickory chips. Put them in the smoker with the water pan set at 225. An hour and a half into the cook, foiled the ribs, put them back, checked the temp with an hour left, and they were at 160, which from what I read is pretty low. Turned the smoker on at 275 for the last 30 minutes, at which time I preheated the grill. At the end of the 3 hours and 30 minutes, I put them on the grill, hit them with some sauce, and was using the open pit regional sauce. I think the flavor was great. Good smoke, but not too much, which has been my problem with my smoker. I have compensated by that for opening the vent about halfway as opposed to keeping it closed, but they were tough. Not sure, but I'm thinking I didn't cook them long enough. I have read about people talking about looking for internal temperatures over 200 on brisket and chuck. I'm having a hard time adjusting to this mindset because I have always been a rare steak guy, so to run temperatures that high, I've really been struggling. Love the show. I am back on podcast mode until you go back to Tuesday nights as my Wednesday schedule. Let me listen live. Thanks again, by the way. Cosmo's Chicken Soak is really great stuff. I agree with that, David. Thanks for writing in. So here's my initial thoughts. First, I'm no expert at all. I'm a backyard cook just like you, David. And the difference between me and you, obviously, is I have an incredibly large ego that needs to be fed. And this is why I have started this show, which I have built up in my mind to be the end-all, be-all medium of barbecue information. But all that being said, I do have specific experience when dealing with beef ribs. So let me give you some ideas. First, I never try to get anything that is boneless, if at all possible. So I haven't cooked these Chucky nuggets per se, but I have cooked beef chuck short ribs, which are commonly known as dino bones, which I get at the Cryovac at BJ's Wholesale Club. But it's something that I have to ask for because they usually cut them in half or quarters, making them into, I guess, these Chucky nuggets for soup or whatever the hell you would use these things for once you have ruined them by cutting them like that. Anyway, what I found is that when you have the beef ribs on the bone, you're able to better tell how they're coming along during the cooking process because you can see that meat kind of pulling back from the bone. So at least you have an idea of where you are in that cooking process. Secondly, I try to keep my temperature of my barbecue pit around 245 degrees. I don't think you really want to get too hot with the beef ribs because they will shrink quickly because it's beef versus another protein. So 245 seems to be what works best for me. Applewood, of course, is very good. I use Applewood all the time. I'm not sure about the hickory with the beef, but if it tastes good to you, yeah, nice mouth. If it tastes good to you, it's all that matters. You got to trust your palate. Now, about foiling. I have foiled and I have not foiled beef ribs. Now, when I foiled the beef ribs, my pit wasn't really keeping consistent temperature, and I needed to make sure the beef was timed with everything else that I was cooking in order to play catch up. Otherwise, I wouldn't personally foil beef ribs. And again, to me, it would look a little, well, I guess what I found is when you foil these beef ribs, if you're not really on top of it, they will shrink off the bone considerably. So you have like this huge naked piece of bone, and then you have like a meat lollipop at the other end. Still delicious, mind you, but it does look a little odd when it's time for presentation. So I would recommend not doing foiling if at all possible. And I think you hit your biggest issue on the cook right here, David. The internal temperature wasn't where you needed it to be to get that texture and that mouthfeel you were hoping for. Look, I know you're a former chef, but you have to leave your finished temps for proteins at the door for barbecue, except for chicken. Sure, beef is done at 130 degrees internal temperature, which is fine for steak, but this isn't steak. You need to cook through doneness and into tenderness, which is what barbecue is really all about. I mean, you wouldn't take a pork tenderloin and cook it to 200 degrees internal because it would be trashed. But if you look at another cut of pork, as in a pork shoulder, if you cook that to 135 degrees, sure, it's technically done, but it would be like the worst thing ever to eat, which is why you take it up to 200 degrees or 203 degrees or 204 degrees internal in order to be able to pull it, because different cuts require different finished internal temperatures. Just accept the whole temperature thing, keep moving, get those Chucky nuggets to a higher finish temp, and I'm pretty sure that would have aced any problems that you would have had in regards to mouthfeel and texture. And here's my biggest piece of advice, Don. You did make a few references to the fact that it was 3 hours and 30 minutes, a number of times in your email. At least in barbecue, it's good to have a timeline in your head, of course. Don't use that as like a strict time frame. The best piece of advice I got when I started out in all this is barbecue is done when it's done and not a second before. If you can't allot the time to do it, then you have to kind of ready yourself for a potential lackluster result. Did you have an extra hour or two? Did they have to come off in 3 hours and 30 minutes or else? Well, maybe so. Maybe you're under a time restriction. But when it comes to the backyard, clocks should be thrown out the window, beer should be flowing liberally, and you should be enjoying the company of friends and family. Whenever the barbecue is done, then you can gather the crowd. You can head over to the feeding station, and no one will be crying about how long it took, because I would venture to say that they'll all be feeding their pie holes full of your awesome barbecue. So yes, absolutely, have a plan of attack, have an outline, if you will, but if at all possible, don't rush the barbecue. Let it tell you when it's done. Keep practicing, my man David. Use the higher finish temps, resist that past chef training to stop cooking. And remember, the best thing about barbecue is that you can eat all of your mistakes. Take notes, just the time, or just for next time. Most importantly, thanks for taking the time to write in and ask me that question and listening, whether it be live or on podcast fashion. I certainly appreciate the fact that you take the time out, whether it be to catch up on an archive or listen here directly on Wednesday nights right here at the show. I appreciate that. Again, quick reminder about the good folks over at the Barbecue Guru, the makers of automatic pit temperature control devices. They invented it. Why would you go anywhere else to get your automatic pit temperature control devices? No one else does it like they do. No one else has a selection that they do to fit your budget and your exact needs. So go over to the website, thebbqguru.com, and check out their automatic pit temperature control devices and the host of other products that make your barbecue and grilling life easier. You can also call them toll-free if you want, 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. All right, it's an open segment for the Centralites, 877-448-0433. Call in if you want to. We'll be back right after this. It's the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Networks.
Barbecue fans travel from all over the country and the world to learn the secrets of real pit barbecue from Grand Champion Pitmaster Conrad Haskins. Now take your skills to the next level with a Barbecue Institute Pitmaster class. You'll learn how to make sauces, rubs, and smoke mouth-watering barbecue every time you cook. Your new skills will impress friends and family. Internet forums, blogs, and Facebook are full of success stories from our graduates. Upcoming classes locations include Rock City Rib Fest, Rochester, New York, Lexington, Massachusetts, Lang Factory Test Kitchen in Georgia, Fort Worth, Texas, Fredericksburg, Texas, Houston, Texas, Monroe, Washington, and Kennewick, Washington. For more information, class dates, and contests we'll be competing in, visit www.bbqclass.com. That's bbqclass.com.
Centralites, you having marriage troubles? Your kid's unruly and don't listen? Then you need the Ribbolator, because great barbecue will always bring the family together, and the Ribbolator always cooks great award-winning barbecue. You can try it free for 30 days, and if your family life doesn't improve, just send it back. Ribbolator even pays return shipping. But you need to take that first step. Visit Ribbolator.com to get started or call 206-999-0962. Don't you deserve a happy barbecue family?
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose. Make ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Forget going from site to site to get all of your barbecue and grilling supplies and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and egg accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred's also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber, as well as a full line of charcoal grills. And once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. And you can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichlin of Barbecue U fame. Check out Fred on the web at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA.
Introducing Cosmos Q. Cosmos Q injections and marinades use only the finest ingredients, and they mix easily, never clotting or caking. From our beef injection to our pork injection, you're guaranteed to wow your friends, family, and judges. And don't forget to check out our Cosmos Chicken Soak for that moist and tender chicken you're gonna love.
And don't forget about Cosmo's new pork soak and rubs.
You can find us at cosmosq.com and select retailers across the nation. For quality injections, marinades, and rubs, it's Cosmos Q.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
We are back, 16 past the hour. This is the Barbecue Central Show. This portion of this show brought to you by D-Dog's Barbecue Rub and Sauces. Now offering free shipping on all orders. DDogsBBQ.com is the website. They also have two new products, a Texas-style barbecue sauce and a jalapeno rib glaze. Got to check those out. Hey, did I mention the free shipping? Because the more you buy, the more you don't have to pay for shipping because it's free. So go ahead. Do it. DDogsBBQ.com is the website. Fun fact, Scott Roberts going to be reviewing D-Dog's original rub. Next segment. Stay tuned for that. Scott Roberts at scottrobertsweb.com coming up in about 10 minutes from now. So look for him. It's the first time I've actually had a segment where I've had a expert reviewing guest, which is Scott, who comes on once a month, review a sponsor of the show. So you can see where technically we are in a potentially, dare I say, potentially weird situation. Well, Greg, looks like we're in a little D-Dog's Barbecue Rub original spot. Actually, that should have got one of these. All right, so this is the open segment. So if you want to call in, you want to talk about the show, you want to talk about a past guest, you want to weigh in on something, competition barbecue, TV side of things, whatever the case may be, pick up the phone and dial 877-448-0433. I am graciously paying for that phone call. Or you can weigh in via the email at Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com. That's two ways to get in on this segment. We don't do it very often, but every once in a while, it's good to give at least the floor to those that enjoy the show, especially live. Because while I certainly appreciate and adore those that download, whether it be through iTunes or whatever type of medium that you're getting the show on in the archived state or the podcast fashion, as I like to refer to it, the podcast fashion, because it is in style. The people that are listening live right now, which I have a number right now, well into the, it's hard to explain the technology, but there's roughly 100 plus people out there that are tuned into this show right now. Now, granted, given the amount of people in the country, probably not a lot. But, I mean, imagine somebody going at this time of night to a computer and typing in a website because they like barbecue and grilling, perhaps more importantly because they like the way that I bring it across in the medium and the people that I have on the show, listening live every night. When we have, to me, the fact that, 100-plus people on any given Wednesday or Tuesday night would care to tune in live to this show versus getting it at their convenience in a podcast state is mind-blowing to me. It's unfathomable in many respects. So I appreciate the live listeners the most, which is why I give them time to call in every once in a while. And then I appreciate close second, but with some distance. Much like if I were to run a foot race, like Usain Bolt would be my live listeners, and then me trailing him would be, how much I adore and appreciate the podcast. Numbers are just skewed ridiculous. Never mind. So, again, 877-448-0433 if you want to call in and get in on this segment because it's for you, or Greg at the bbqcentralshow.com. Quick recap, because there was a change over the past weekend in the Kansas City Barbecue Society's Team of the Year. And we're drawing closer. We're a week away, almost a week away from the American Royal. Huge competition, both invitational and open. So it's like you can get out there like on a Thursday and you can stay out there all the way till a Sunday. You can make a 5-day getaway weekend out of this thing. And then following that up a mere 2-3 weeks later is the Jack Daniels competition. And we have in the works at least 2 roundtable shows, one of Jack Daniels' past winners that will also be down there again this year. And I've got, a good 3 people in for winners already, I think. And a great selection of people that are going to be down there the first time. So I thought it would be a good idea for a live show to get those that have been not only been down there, but have won the World Championship of Barbecue, as it's commonly referred to. And then those guys that are going down for the first time, kind of get their thoughts and reactions as to what it's all about, how they're going to be game planning to win. You don't go down, I'm sure some people go down and they're just happy to be down there. But, when you get to that state, you're winning at some point. You have to have won a state qualifying championship in order to be availed into the drawing process that is the Jack Daniels. That's an interview in itself, I would imagine. Debbie Christensen should give me an interview about how the Jack draw is worked up and how that actually happens. Nevertheless. So we have the American Royal coming up here next weekend, and then we have the Jack Daniels following that up here in just a couple weeks. So there you go. Anyway, KCBS Team of the Year standings right now. Pellet Envy still atop. QOW, 2 points. What? 2 points away from top seed. QOW, Mike Wozniak, is in for those that like to keep score. 2808 is Pellet Envy. 2806 is QOW. 2761 Parrot Head Smokers, who's been sniffing right around and has been in the top spot a couple of times here during the course of the calendar year already. Butcher Barbecue, Dave Bosca, 2730. And then Munchin' Hogs at the Hilton, Robert McGee is 2728. So you're looking at less than 100 points separating the top 5 teams in the Kansas City Barbecue Society's Team of the Year race. So if this is anything like last year, we could actually have a bigger race to the end depending on who's actually going to go all in and race down to Tempe, or wherever the hell it was in Arizona, last year for that very last event. Man, that was exciting last year to have Steve and Darren and Rod pull that off. 3 teams vying for top honors. That was outstanding. Great radio. Very dramatic. So that's your update for the KCBS Team of the Year. Rod Gray still up there. QOW, Parrot Head Smokers, Butcher Barbecue, Munchin' Hogs at the Hilton is your top 5. Not too much changing over in Florida Barbecue Association or in the Memphis Barbecue Network. Quick hitting on this coming Thursday on Barbecue Pitmasters TLC. That's going to be the finals. So if you do any type of investigating on the internets, which I love to do, you would know that the category is going to be whole hog. So, you're wondering to yourself, who are the guests going to be for next week? Well, the good news is, I think I have secured who I think might be winning this whole damn thing. Already locked it in. So you're like, well, Rempy, who do you think is going to be winning? Well, first of all, are you a fan of the show? Do you even know who won week 1? That was like 6 weeks ago. Who won the very first show of Barbecue Pitmasters? What was one of my biggest complaints about the show? Look, the show continues to get a decent amount of negative criticism. The show also gets a little bit more and more each week of people that think the show is somehow doing better. Sorry, by the way, if you want to call in, 877-448-0433. 877-448-0433 is the number to call in. For the people that are under the assumption that as the show goes on, I'm constantly baffled by what people think and how people are watching television. They're not going back and making changes because they're seeing things online negatively. The show has been shot. The winner has already been decided well before all of this ever happened. So to think that they can go back in and change things so dramatically in the editing process of television is patently ridiculous. So if for some reason you happen to like it after the third or fourth week, come clean with yourself. You just happen to like the show. Don't be afraid. It has been shown and proven out time and time again. This is a format of show that works. Whether you're a passionate, competitive barbecuer or a competitive, or not a competitive, but a very passionate backyard barbecuer, you've been sucked into the show. That's fine. I don't mind it. I'm not offended by it. I'm really not. All right, here we go. First call of the day. Let's go to area code 215. Barbecue Central Radio Show, name and where you're calling from.
Hey, what's up, Greg? It's up, Junior.
Ladies and gentlemen, celebrity podcast host Bruce McCall Jr. on the line. What's up, Huck? How are you doing tonight?
How's it going?
What's your take, buddy?
Just calling to get your idea on that the Barbecue Pitmaster show. I agree with you. It's not going to change halfway through the season when they've already done wrapped up filming. But you think they're going to go back to the regular format next season?
Well, it's funny. You talked to Leanne Whippen, or I talked to Leanne Whippen last week on the show. She was of the opinion that there wouldn't be a next season. Now, if you look at the numbers for this season compared to season number 1, those are up. So if you're looking at it logically, why would TLC now pull back the show altogether and not bring it out for a third season if the numbers are better this season compared to first season, right?
Yep.
So
that sounds like somebody, maybe the producer doesn't like doing it this way.
Well, I think
that's just an idea.
Here's the thing, right? You have John Marcus, who has had a number of barbecue televisions on show already. I think there's this makes his 4th attempt at barbecue television. And it seems like every other attempt, so you have your initial attempt, which I believe was like on Outdoor Living Network, and then you had your second go, which was through Versus. But it seems like John gets his show out initially the way he wants it. And then the second time it comes out, it's completely revamped, which, according to that process, is exactly what happened here. You had what he wanted to do in season 1 of Barbecue Pitmasters, and then you have what we're seeing now as Barbecue Pitmasters season 2. But if the numbers are good, it would only make sense to me that there would be another season, kind of a mix of some of season 1, perhaps very little, in kind of intervening into what is now a successful season 2, because that's the format that works.
Well, second thing, little non-barbecue related. What do you think about Mike Vick starting?
Well, being a Cleveland Brown fan, I would be more than happy to have Mike Vick starting 4. They're Cleveland Browns, and believe me, I mean, what kind of a media circus, Huckles, would we have if Mike Vick was the quarterback here? Because we have in the north side of the stadium, affectionately known as Dog Pound. It doesn't get any better than that. Mike Vick in the Dog Pound. I mean, it's like it's kismet as far as I'm concerned. They should trade him next week if he has a great game this Sunday right to the Cleveland Browns. I would be all over that trade because who do we have? We have Seneca Wallace, who is 5'3" if he's wearing lifts in his shoes. And then Jake Delhomme was hurt after the first game, which is pretty much right on par with the way Cleveland Browns football has been ever since they've returned in '99. So it's a demise. I think Andy Reid is in a bad position. I don't think it's his decision at all to not start Kevin Cobb. I think the owner told him that he's going to be starting Mike Vick because he's got a hot hand and he's kind of looked better. But Huck,
and he's on a hot seat probably.
Let me tell you something. Huck, do you think you could suit up and probably do fairly well against the Detroit Lions? Of course you could. The Detroit Lions are horrible, just like the Cleveland Browns are horrible. We both could look good quarterbacking that team. So I think the true test will be next week. We will see how good Mike Vick looks next week. Are you happy as a Philly fan? Are you happy with Mike Vick being in?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think they're lining him up to start against McNabb for Game 4.
Oh, buddy. Controversy all over the place. Look, yeah. I got to let you go. I appreciate you calling in tonight. We'll go ahead and John over to area code 714. Name and where you're calling from.
Hi, this is Kevin. I'm from California.
Kevin from California. How are you tonight, buddy? Thanks for calling in.
I'm great, Greg. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well. What can I do for you tonight?
Well, you guys are talking about this whole pitmaster thing. And, I was kind of a fan of this first season only because it was more competition. But it just wasn't working for TV. I mean, honestly, the average person, other than us, would find it fairly boring. Here these guys are sitting around, they're talking a little smack back and forth. It's the same thing over and over again. And although the second season seems to be more geared towards the Food TV network, you've got the Iron Chef challenges and all the other kind of dramatization, Hell's Kitchen type. I think they should at least not make the competitors go home. Maybe just subtract the points. And I think people would probably stop complaining.
Do you think that the problem here, the issue that I see with reality, well, first of all, I think reality TV is a problem all in itself, but nevertheless.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that they have that elimination in after they put in that main classic barbecue meat. I have no idea what the hell turducken is having to do with any classical barbecue meat. Yeah. But nevertheless, I'll ask Dan about that here in the 10 o'clock hour. But I think they need to have that in there because people that watch reality television, they're a fan of reality television, feed off of other people's misery and poor success. So if they can send somebody home before anything actually really gets going.
They like that. They like that drama. Oh my God, it's so bad. But it's almost like what Willy Wonka said. Oh, the suspense is killing me. I sure hope it lasts. Right. But I think the people really need, we as a barbecue small community, we need this so we can get to more competition. Because you guys back east have got a hell of a lot more stuff going on than we do in California. We fight tooth and nail just to get one extra competition here or there, and it's too bad. We want the same thing the East Coast have. It's almost like rap music. It's West versus East, But I like the show. I like it because it's barbecue. But I really think they should change it a little bit. I think a point system, because you got all that equipment, you got that money sitting in there, you're smoking the stuff, and the guy can't make crocodile cradles. I don't cook crocodile. Maybe we could cook dog, but not crocodile. I just want to see the show continue. Season 3, but I don't know, man. I hear the ratings are good this season, but TLC they like their American Chopper,
I was just talking to a guy out in Philadelphia who's amidst quarterback controversy out the ass. So controversy breeds excitement and speculation beyond compare. So here's my thought. If you have season 1 that evidently didn't do nearly as well as TLC hoped. But they bring it back for a second season, and a complete revamp is what we have today. If the numbers are that much better, which evidently they are, I've seen some numbers from different websites that are saying well over 1 million people are watching this every Thursday.
When he was on the Brethren a few days ago.
Absolutely. The numbers are up. He said it just as much a couple weeks ago when he was on the show at 10 o'clock, during the 10 o'clock after dark hour. But I think if they bring the show back, and I don't know why they wouldn't bring the show back at this point, because the numbers are better than it was season 1, that there might be at least an infusion, however small it might be, of a little bit of season 1, and then having that season 2, the current season that we have now, kind of feeding into all of this. At least that's my thought. I have no idea why they wouldn't bring the show back for a third season, since the numbers are up at least.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard for them to mix the two together. I think they'd have to either run the episodes, not double the episodes, and stagger it or something, or even do almost like a Hell's Kitchen. Pick these pitmasters here. We're going to start out with 16, and whoever can't hold the mud, they start to get chopped. And at the end, you're sort of with the best one. I mean, they can do any kind of spin, but currently it needs a little work. Because come on, I don't know when's the last time you cooked turducken or crocodile or dog shit. Whatever. I just like to see us prevail, but it seems like every time we get a chance, they want to put a little tweak on it.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, look, I'm going to have to let you go. I certainly appreciate your call tonight. Just for your information, I've never, ever, ever cooked dog shit. So, let's dispel any rumors, any myths right now. I've never cooked dog shit. I've never tried to pass it off to my guests in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. Never. Kevin, I'm assuming you've never passed off dog shit yourself. We can say dog shit because we're not on terrestrial radio yet. I am late. Scott Roberts is coming up next to review barbecue sauce and rubs. We have Dan Hickson coming up at the 10 o'clock hour. We have the 4-segment free-for-all coming up before Dan Hickson. That's ramping you right here on the Barbecue Central Show.
Barbecue fans travel from all over the country and the world to learn the secrets of real pit barbecue from Grand Champion Pitmaster Conrad Haskins. Now take your skills to the next level with a Barbecue Institute Pitmaster class. You'll learn how to make sauces, rubs, and smoke mouth-watering barbecue every time you cook. Your new skills will impress friends and family. Internet forums, blogs, and Facebook are full of success stories from our graduates. Upcoming classes locations include Rock City Rib Fest, Rochester, New York, Lexington, Massachusetts, Lang Factory Test Kitchen in Georgia, Fort Worth, Texas, Fredericksburg, Texas, Houston, Texas, Monroe, Washington, and Kennewick, Washington. For more information, class dates, and contests we'll be competing in, visit www.bbqclass.com. That's bbqclass.com.
Centralites, you having marriage troubles? Your kid's unruly and don't listen? Then you need the Ribbolator, because great barbecue will always bring the family together, and the Ribbolator always cooks great award-winning barbecue. You can try it free for 30 days, and if your family life doesn't improve, just send it back. Ribbolator even pays return shipping. But you need to take that first step. Visit Ribbolator.com to get started or call 206-999-0962. Don't you deserve a happy barbecue family?
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose, like ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required. for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Forget going from site to site to get all of your barbecue and grilling supplies and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and egg accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred's also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber, as well as a full line of charcoal grills. And once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. And you can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichlin of Barbecue U fame. Check out Fred on the web at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA.
Introducing Cosmos Q. Cosmos Q injections and marinades use only the finest ingredients, and they mix easily, never clotting or caking. From our beef injection to our pork injection, you're guaranteed to wow your friends, family, and judges. And don't forget to check out our Cosmos Chicken Soak for that moist and tender chicken you're gonna love.
And don't forget about Cosmo's new pork soak and rubs.
You can find us at cosmosq.com and select retailers across the nation. For quality injections, marinades, and rubs, it's Cosmos Q.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
We are late and we are back. It is the Barbecue Central Show. This portion brought to you by the good folks at the Ribolator. Look, it's literally flying off the shelves here, guys. If you want to get away from the restriction of traditional rotisserie cooking, be only limited by your imagination, then the Ribolator is for you. Go to the website, ribolator.com, to check it out first, and then email Bob from the Ribolator with your interest. info@ribolator.com is his email address. You won't be sorry you did it. It's one of the coolest products out there right now. All right, as promised, knowing that I am late, our monthly correspondent reviewing sauce and rub as we race to the hotline of ScottRobertsWeb.com is Scott Roberts. Scott, how are you tonight, buddy?
Oh, trying to get over a cold or a flu or something, but since I'm on your show, I'm doing better already.
You're not contagious through the Skype line, are you?
I don't think so. At least not yet.
All right, so if it's a cold, it's fine. Well, let me tell you something, Scott. You need to be taking your Joe Bees. Do you take Joe Bees?
I do not, no.
It's all natural. It's all natural bee pollen, JOEBEES.com. And if you order right now, you get 6 months. You can get your 7-month free plus free shipping, and it's a money-back guarantee. You can't lose.
I will definitely look into that.
Look at you think free-range bee pollen, and you think Rempe's crazy. But I've been taking them now for like a year and almost a year and a half, I guess now, and I haven't had a cold, let alone any type of other sickness. And my energy is right up there, sustained throughout the day. Joe Bees. I'm telling you, Scott, it's got to be Joe Bees, baby. Look into it. Look into it, baby. All right, so we have Scott on every month to talk about sauce and rub, because as we all know, there is a veritable cornucopia of barbecue sauces and rubs out there to choose from, but somebody that is an expert, somebody that has a palate of distinguishability that can tell us, look, something you want to try or something you definitely want to run away from is Scott Roberts. So before we get into that, Scott, what's happening over at your website, ScottRobertsWeb.com?
Well, still going strong with the weekly Firecast. It's not technically a podcast. It's a YouTube weekly video show. I've been trying to bang them out, focusing on fiery foods, a little bit of barbecue and grilling here and there. So if any of you out there want to check it out, just go to weeklyfirecast.com or my website, ScottRobertsWeb.com.
And you're still not going to give up how you get those television monitors behind you, like that number in the thousands?
You mean my big man cave there?
Huge man cave.
Huge, yes. Huge facility there.
All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and start with our barbecue sauces, and then we have a very special rub evaluation because it's a sponsor of the show, that being D-Dog, so we'll definitely save that for last. But we'll start with K. John's Private Reserve Apple Smoked Bourbon Chipotle Barbecue Sauce. And I think it's important to point out, because I do follow at Scott Roberts on Twitter, and I do visit scottrobertsweb.com. K. John's is also known for the hot sauce side of things as well.
That's correct. As a matter of fact, K. John's makes about 180 different products. Hot sauces, salsas, rubs, barbecue sauces, you name it. I mean, it's out there, and just about everything is good, including this sauce right here. As a matter of fact, I love this sauce so much that I could literally just drink it right out of the bottle.
Really?
I don't know if it has something to do with the bourbon in it, but it's just a fantastic flavor. And I've never been a fan of like a fruity barbecue sauces, but somehow this just adds a touch of apple flavor to it with all the other ingredients. It just perfectly balanced and just great. On meats, though, it kind of loses a little bit of its boldness, I think.
Now, so you're saying like right out of the bottle, this thing is almost ingestible just as it is, but as it goes on to meats, there's a loss in translation almost.
A tiny bit, yeah. It has I guess a sweet and subtle flavor by itself. On meats, though, it loses a little bit, but not enough not to recommend it.
All right, so I'm looking at apple. I'm looking at chipotle bourbon. So we have some sweet stuff. Obviously, the chipotle is going to be that smoky, peppery type of thing. My initial thought is this thing would really be good on like ribs or some type of pork chop or a pork tenderloin. What have you tried it on, and what do you think it would pair best with?
I hate to say chicken because,
I don't hate to say chicken, by the way. I think chicken is one of the most like, let's call it blank canvases where you can really tell if a sauce is good or if it sucks.
That's true. But, of course, I think it's more likely for a sauce to taste better on chicken than other things.
I'll agree with that.
I have tried it on pork steaks and pork tenderloin as well. And I think it does a pretty good job on there.
All right, and what are we looking at capacity-wise and price point?
Okay, it comes in a 16-ounce bottle. It runs for $7. It's available at kjohns.com, at CAGOHNS.com. You might be able to find it at some specialty and hot sauce stores nationwide. K. John's is in a lot of those. But look to the website if you're not sure.
And what kind of a ranking are you giving this one?
Okay, I would give this a top 10 call.
Top 10 call. So definitely one you're going to want to try out if you happen to run across it or you're an online shopper. The next one up, and I have extensive experience with this one, Bullseye Barbecue Regional Sauces, that being Carolina, Memphis, Kansas City, and Texas. I'll let you go first, Scott.
Okay, let's go from east to west. Carolina, it's very inspired by the real Carolina sauces, heavy vinegar. I guess it kind of comes close to like Lexington barbecue, which, has some ketchup in there. But then it completely goes off the road. There's mustard in there. I would say it is not at all like true Carolina-style barbecue sauce. But for what it is, I actually like it.
All right. Memphis style?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The Memphis style?
Memphis style. Now, before I tried this is the one I was most curious about. But I found it very middle of the road. Just a really basic, heavy tomato and sugary taste with just a little bit of spice added. I would say it's the most generic of these four. It's still decent enough to recommend. But by all means, it does not have a really distinctive taste at all.
All right, Kansas City.
Okay, this would be the closest to the traditional bullseye flavor. Really strong, a thick, sweet molasses dominated. This one has a oniony bite at the end. And I found out that this is probably the best of the four. I enjoyed it. And probably the closest to the region it's supposed to represent.
All right, and then Texas?
Texas. I was expecting this to have much more of a mesquite flavor. It does not have much of a smoky flavor at all, but it has, like the Memphis, a kind of a basic tomatoey sweet taste, but Texas has a lot of chili pepper flavor added to it.
All right, and
it's by far the most spicy one, and I would kind of borderline recommend this one as well.
All right, so what are we looking at price point wise and volume wise?
Volume, they come in 17.5 to 18 ounce bottles. You can pick it up for probably $2.50 a bottle at grocery stores nationwide. And as far as my actual ratings of them, Carolina, I would give a backyard griller rating, 3 out of 5. Memphis would probably be the same, backyard griller. The Kansas City style, I would give a top 10 call to. Texas, kind of in the middle between a backyard griller and top 10 call rating, maybe 3 out of 5. So,
all right, so we have a couple,
they're all decent.
A couple dings here. All right, here's my review. Run away. These sauces are horse. They're the worst sauces ever. Let me tell you something. These regional sauces that I was sent to by Bullseye to sample are, I have to affectionately disagree with you, Scott. Each one is worse than the next. And for an attempt at Bullseye to get away from their crappy sauce that they had out that was just mass marketed as Bullseye, to then try and regionalize it as these half-ass attempt at some of these meccas of barbecue is, quite frankly, a slap in the face. So my resounding review is, I can't deal with it. All right, so we move on from there. Scott, let's get to the most important part of the evening.
The most important part, what everybody's been waiting for.
Right.
Perhaps a drum roll would be appropriate here.
What is your website? What is your
I'm sorry?
What is your website?
My website, scottrobertsweb.com.
All right, most important question done. Now we'll get to the second most important question. Sponsor of the show. No pressure, Scott, I swear to God. Sponsor of the show, and I would appreciate your most direct response. D-Dog's Barbecue Original Rub. This is the one that started it all. They've been a sponsor of the show even when it was in podcast form only, like 4 years ago. DDOGSBBQ.com. It's better than ketchup, from what I've been told by Darren Hurd, owner and personal friend of mine. Go ahead with the review on D-Dog's Barbecue Original Rub.
Well, I'm not the biggest fan of ketchup out there. I would say it is better than ketchup.
Whoa, sorry, getting a little happy there with the sound effects. So, better than ketchup, which is good.
Yes, but I'm not a huge fan of ketchup. I first tried this out at the Fiery Foods and Barbecue Show in Albuquerque in March. I found it to be an all-around good rub out there, just tasting it by itself. I tried it on quite a few things back here at home. I don't think it is all that well on beef, but it's amazing on pork. It does have a really dominant sweet taste to it. So therefore, I did not put a whole lot of it on there before the cook. I actually added more once it was the food was close to being done. It kind of caramelized, it glazed up very nicely, and I found the overall flavor to be pleasant.
All right, so in our very special extra covert grading scale, what do you give this one?
I would have to give this a 3.5 out of 5 between backyard griller and top 10.
All right, 3.5 out of 5. I'll take that. I will allow that for a show sponsor. 3.5 out of 5. I actually like it too, and I agree with many things that you have said. It's very good on pork, and that there is a sweetness to it. So depending on how you're going to apply it, might be best to be prudent at first, and then if you need to re-season before finish serving, then it's certainly something that you could do. So we have D-Dog's Barbecue Original Rub, which is DDOGSBBQ.com. Scott also reviewed Bullseye's Barbecue Regional Sauces, which were crap. Bullseye.com is the website. Figure it out if you can't spell it. And K-John's Private Reserve Apple Smoked Bourbon Chipotle Barbecue Sauce, which got a very high rating as well, and that's kjohns.com, which is CAJOHNS.com. And as always, Scott, we appreciate your time for coming on every month, and we will look for you again in October.
Well, thank you, Greg.
All right, thanks for coming on. There he is, Scott Roberts of ScottRobertsWeb.com. You can't beat him. That guy's got an expert palate, for crying out loud. Oh, boy. Let's see. Well, why not do the 4-segment free-for-all? I don't know. It's my show. I'll do whatever I want. We're late. Everything was well worth it. People are calling in. So go ahead. Start dialing in if you want. Remember, if I pick up now, you can wait on hold. Just if you hear the show, you're up. So just wait for your area code to be called. If you hear the show, you're up. Remember that. 877-448-0433 for fun and succulent prizes. It's Rempe and you right here on the Barbecue Central Show.
Barbecue fans travel from all over the country and the world to learn the secrets of real pit barbecue from Grand Champion Pitmaster Conrad Haskins. Now take your skills to the next level with a Barbecue Institute Pitmaster class. You'll learn how to make sauces, rubs, and smoke mouth-watering barbecue every time you cook. Your new skills will impress friends and family. Internet forums, blogs, and Facebook are full of success stories from our graduates. Upcoming classes locations include Rock City Rib Fest, Rochester, New York, Lexington, Massachusetts, Lang Factory Test Kitchen in Georgia, Fort Worth, Texas, Fredericksburg, Texas, Houston, Texas, Monroe, Washington, and Kennewick, Washington. For more information, class dates, and contests we'll be competing in, visit www.bbqclass.com. That's bbqclass.com.
Centralites, you having marriage troubles? Your kid's unruly and don't listen? Then you need the Ribbulator, because great barbecue will always bring the family together, and the Ribbulator always cooks great award-winning barbecue. You can try it free for 30 days, and if your family life doesn't improve, just send it back. Ribbulator even pays return shipping. But you need to take that first step. Visit Ribbulator.com to get started or call 206-999-0962. Don't you deserve a happy barbecue family?
The future of barbecue is already here at thebarbecueguru.com. From the amazing guru that monitors and controls the temperatures of any charcoal, wood, or electric pit to the Caldera Tallboy knockdown smoker. Yes, it breaks down and stores flat, yet it's still a robust, sturdy, portable cooker and smokehouse. It also serves as an efficient temperature-controlled convection oven using wood or charcoal. The Tallboy is designed to fit all catering pans and can be used as a warming oven. You can cook in any style you choose. Make ribs, chicken, jerky, vegetables, smoked cheese, whatever you want. Take it to KCBS competitions and unload it from the trunk of your car. TheBarbecueGuru.com is where you'll find the Caldera 3-Bay Caterer. It's stainless steel and uses charcoal or sterno for chafing purposes. And it doubles as a 3-bay sink or wash station with hot water and knocks down in seconds with no tools required for transportation and storage. The future of barbecue is here at thebarbecueguru.com. That's www.thebbqguru.com or call 1-800-288-GURU.
Forget going from site to site to get all of your barbecue and grilling supplies and make your first and final stop at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com. In the market for a new barbecue pit, we have all the big name brands like Big Green Egg and more. As a matter of fact, Fred's is staffed by eggheads and carries all the parts and egg accessories for the Big Green Egg. More of a pellet head, you say? Fred's is the pellet grill superstore with grills in stock from Traeger, Green Mountain, and Country Smokers from Louisiana Grills. Fred's also carries smokers from Cook Shack, Bradley, and Weber, as well as a full line of charcoal grills. And once you're outfitted with your new smoker or grill, you'll find absolutely everything you need to make your barbecue or grilling experience a success. Fred is also the creator and distributor of Tasty Licks barbecue products, including their great line of rubs, spices, and sauces. You gotta try them. And you can also get your hands on a full lineup of marinades, accessories, lump charcoal, wood chips, pellets, chunks, and even the great grilling tools from Stephen Reichlin of Barbecue U fame. Check out Fred on the web at fredsmusicandbarbecue.com or check out their fully stocked showroom in beautiful Shillington, PA.
Introducing Cosmos Q. Cosmos Q injections and marinades use only the finest ingredients, and they mix easily, never clotting or caking. From our beef injection to our pork injection, you're guaranteed to wow your friends, family, and judges. And don't forget to check out our Cosmos Chicken Soak for that moist and tender chicken you're gonna love.
And don't forget about Cosmo's new pork soak and rubs.
CosmosQ.com. You can find us at CosmosQ.com and select retailers across the nation. For quality injections, marinades, and rubs, it's Cosmos Q.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
We are back. This portion of the show brought to you by Yoder Smoky Mountain Barbecue, the leading online retailer of Meadow Creek barbecue equipment. Their barbecue smokers and grills are handcrafted in the Amish country of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, helping you to enjoy easy and profitable barbecues. Very important, profitable barbecues for years to come. Serious BBQs, that's plural, BBQS, SeriousBBQs.com. Check them out. Check out their chicken cooker. It's fabulous. All right, 877-448-0433 if you want to win some free stuff right quick. 877-448-0433. And 4-segment free-for-all coming up. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Harry Carey here. Kyle, Wednesday happened to be here for a very limited time, evidently. We're up what is that called? Oh, I'm sorry. Evidently, we're up against it. Whatever that means. One time I was up against it in the broadcast booth with Steve Stone. Well, that's a different story for a different day. Perhaps even a different show. Okay. 877-448-0433 is the number to call. You too can win some fun and succulent prizes right here on the show. It's very easy to do. You just dial the number, and I'll pick you up. And then we have some decisions to make, my friends. That's right, we have some decisions to make. And you might be like, Harry, what decisions do we have to make? It's a freaking game show. But let me tell you something. You're going to have to make the command decision on if you want to answer barbecue questions or non-barbecue questions. That means questions that aren't related to barbecue whatsoever. That's your choice, not mine. You're calling in, it's your dime. What? Evidently, it's our dime. So you'll call 877-448-0433. And then we'll play. You'll have 5 seconds to answer each question that I ask you, culminating in the third question, where you could possibly win any number of prizes at your disposal. I remember one time I was in the kitchen and my garbage disposal wouldn't work. What? Not the same thing? I think it's the same thing. I'll give myself credit for that one. All right. By the way, friends and neighbors, if you're wondering what you could possibly win in a show like this, I can tell you. We have frog mats. Thank you very much for frog mats. We also have Cosmos Q. And if you think Cosmos Q is a joke, my friends, maybe you should entertain the fact that they won Grand Championship. No? All right. Last weekend they won. Congratulations to him. Darian, congratulations for winning, my friend. All right, here we go. What? I'm out of here. We're going to wrap up the first hour very quickly. We're going to thank Scott Roberts for reviewing Sauce and Rub. We're going to do news real quick, and we'll be back with Dan Hickson from Three Eyes Barbecue. Talk about all sorts of great barbecue and grilling stuff with him. So stick around. We'll be right back. It's Rempe and you right here on the Barbecue Central Show.